Okay, so more people. Alare says Lagos. Joseph says, "Oh, we've got a man in the group. Abuja." Chrissy says, "I wish it was snowing Bromley." Oh no, definitely not what I want. Okay, can I just check that you guys can see my screen? Okay, Allah says, yes, we can. Good evening, everyone joining from Port Harcourt. Fantastic. All right, let's get into this. Let us get into this. I am especially excited about tonight's conversation class. Just catch up, hang out. That's what it is. Actually, the intention is for us to just hang out. I'm especially excited about it. So let us go. And yeah, let me know what your expectations as well in the chat box as we go along. Okay. So if you have never, ever heard anything about me, I bid you a warm welcome. My name is Tonbra Nwosuagwu, and I call myself the Chief Morite. I am the ring leader of the More Collective. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the More Collective, who we are, what we do, just so that you get a bit of context on what this class is about and why this class is, if you see what I mean, as we go along. Okay. If we leave questions much towards the end, when we get to the end, then we can just kind of have more sort of like of an open forum, and then we could go questions. I'm trying to preserve the if you like, the integrity of the recording so that we can have it archive for people who will be watching it at a later date. Okay, so activator, present me, teacher, present me. In fact, what I say is I am an evangelist. I am an evangelist for helping people manifest their higher selves. That is what I believe I've been called on this earth to do. I want you to, to evolve. I want you to transform. I want you to be, the best that you can possibly be when it comes, particularly from a place of purpose, because I believe very deeply that every single person has something that has been deposited within them, and the world is just kind of waiting for that. So that's what I do. I try and support you in the manifestation of that purpose, and I am the bringer of good vibes. I'm a good viber person. I just like to bring in the energy. Okay, so this is our very, very first More Hangout in 2022. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2022. I thought we'll start the year with a bang. We'll start the year with something that I know for sure will set you up for a great year. First of all, I want to see in the group actually, I want to see in the chat box actually, just what your expectations are for the year. Just pop in, one word that summarizes what your expectations are for the year of 2022. Ruth says Happy New Year. Nkechi says, yeah, put a heart. Let me know one word that summarizes what your expectation is for this year. I would love to see it as I sip my water. Oh, I love it. Angeli says growth. Fantastic. Yep, you're in the right place. Definitely, that's part of what we support with. Oinwa says evolution. Okay, I love it. Keep them coming. Let me see. What are you expecting in 2022? Focus and accomplishment. Actually, that's my word as well, Amaka. My word is focus. Like, yes, I want a laser beam in 2022. What I often say is that the enemy of a great idea isn't actually, you know, it's another good idea. It's another, okay idea, because you then do them side by side and then you lose focus, and it takes you out away from your great idea. So it's important that, we focus. Okay, so keep them coming as I go along. Alrighty. Okay. I I see your comment. I'm not going to call your name out, but no, you will get value out of this. Don't worry about it. I don't want to call you out, but I see your comment, but you will get value. Stick around, don't go anywhere. Okay. So I want to call out, shout out to anybody who's new. I want our existing members. If you've been in the More Hangout before, I want you to celebrate the people who are just joining for the very first time. Nkechi says accountability and results. So say I am new in the comments. I've never ever been in any More Hangout, and I'm excited to be here. I want you to put it, and I want our existing people to say, hey, hey, hey. Hey, Dr. Chi, I didn't know you were here. Yes, welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, I love the fact that you're here. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much for being here. Fantastic. Ruth says, I am excited and I am new. Hey, hey, Ruth, we welcome you. Anybody else, just please feel free to put in. This is going to be an electric session. I want you to stay. Don't go, stay till the end, okay? You know, when you watch all those masterclasses, they'll say, stay to the end, I have a gift. But staying to the end is the gift in itself, yeah? I'm also new. I'm looking forward to these meetings. And then Amaka says, first timer, hey, welcome, 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 welcome. We celebrate you. So, what is the More Collective? Let's start here, right? It is a catalytic community of women who are intentional about personal growth and inner fulfillment. We kicked off in October last year, and this is actually, I think, our fourth More Hangout now, and it's just been evolving. And I don't want to just speak, anybody who is part of the collective, just put in the comment box, what your experience of these hangouts and just generally what the experience of the collective itself is. Just please put that out. But what are our core pillars, just to give you a sense into what it is, right? It's based on three core pillars. The first is personal development. We are growth focused people, so we do books, reviews, and we do master classes. And it also provides you a structure for being accountable with your goals, because sometimes we feel, oh, you know what, I'll just, just kind of go through it. And that's mistake number one in itself, because a lot of times people fail because they don't have any structure or accountability, which brings me to my third point, which is it's a community of like-minded people looking to grow, looking to evolve. So it provides that, ecosystem of catalysis, if you like. Okay, so I start here with a big secret. Big secret. Less is not actually more. Okay, in a lot of contexts, people say it is, but what I believe, particularly as it concerns what we carry on the inside, it isn't more, less. More more is actually more. We carry power, we carry fire, and a lot of times we feel this false sense of humility to shrink because we believe that, that is just me being good. I don't want anybody to see me. I don't want anyone to, I just want to do my own thing. Somebody put in a comment, do my own thing is the wrong thing. There should be something within you that is just bigger than yourself, something within you that wants to pour into other people, something within you that wants to live an impact in this life, something within you that wants to be significant, something within you that wants to leave a legacy that is there much after you're gone. That is what I mean by more is more. More is more. What is within you needs to pour out, burst forth, and bless the world. Okay, so as I go now, I start to show you what our operating rhythm is, and I've touched on it already: book reviews, master classes, a catalytic community, accountability. But here, this is where we start, right? And I'm talking to you guys, and we will go into greatness, but I'm really trying to set the foundation of who we are as a group first, and then we go into the core subject of today. It's about being more, it's about doing more, and it's about having more. And as you see it in this pyramid, it's structured, right? Being more is the base. Doing more is then where you get to above that, and then having more is sort of like the pinnacle of where you're headed, where you should be focused on, right? So it's three things, and when I say be more, what I'm referring to here is building your competence. And this competence that I'm referring to is the competence that is around your natural strengths. One of the big mistakes a lot of people make is, you're building competence, or you're, you know, what I call building competence in your hard zones. And hard zones are things, areas where, for instance, you've got you don't necessarily have an innate ability in it, right? You sometimes you just have an interest, but you just don't necessarily, it's not something that you're doing that is in your region of flow. You're kind of, you find yourself doing it, and it's kind of hard, right? That is what I say, building competence in your hard zone. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be countercurrent. You want to be in life in a way that just feels like the wave is just carrying you. You're doing it. It's like a fish. A fish in water is just swimming. It's not thinking about anything again, at all. So if the things that you're doing, hey, Ajibike, we've literally just kickstarted. So yeah, welcome, welcome. Get comfy, and let's continue. So if you are in, if you're doing something currently, or you're building something currently, you're in a role or this, and it feels hard. That is an initial, it's a telltale sign that you're in your hard zone. And these are some of the things that we discuss as well internally. And then once you're building competence and you're building it right, the next step is then to grow mastery. So what mastery is really you being, you being able to do what you can do well better, right? You can do it with your eyes closed. You are now a master. You've understood it enough to even be able to, I don't know, perhaps even teach somebody. So that's what it means to be a master. And if you think about this evolution, that is how our lives are meant to go. And I think about, I'm Christian, and my some of my references come from the Bible. It's literally the walk that we see, Jesus Christ make, right? He's born, and you see him in the synagogue. He's reading the Bible. He's focused on just that building, reading, and studying, teaching. He's actually teaching, but it's still part of that ecosystem of building first, right? And then you see in him that gets to the point where he's doing, so it's the wedding in Cana, and then his mother says, "Oh, you know what? We have a problem here." He then starts to do miracles. It's I don't want to do anything here. My time is not yet here. But then it was like, okay, he starts to do miracles, and from there, this one people start following all of that. All of that is just the mastery and stuff. And then when we get into have more, so this is where it gets interesting. So have more is what I call building capacity. So the things that you have competence in, you lay upon it, and you build mastery on. And then the things that you have mastery on, you layer upon it and then build capacity. And when I speak about capacity, what I mean is the ability to stretch, the ability to serve more people, the ability to go over and beyond just a tiny domain, the ability to own, to serve in cross territories. And that is what having more means. And I like to share this because I think it really puts it in context, the vision for more. When I'm saying, what, you can be more, what do I actually mean? And these slides will tell the story. So this is just this lady, she's on a kayak. Life seems beautiful. She thinks that this is the best her life, this is best of her life. When she's doing this, she's minding her own business or doing her own thing. You know what I said? Doing your own thing is the wrong thing. She's doing her own thing, and that's fine, because that's where you start. Just awareness, understanding who you are and all of that. That's where you start. And then you can see the minute, you evolve, you now say, you know what, it's not just me. Life is not just about me. I can carry somebody else. And then it's still there. You're building that competence around it. You're not yet quite a master. It's just you and somebody else and all of that. But that's the evolution. And then you can take more people, you can help more people, you can teach more people, you can contribute into the lives of more people. That's what more really, really stands for. And then look at that. That's a bigger boat. It's a boat of, I don't know, maybe about 25 people or so. Yeah. But that's more. That's expansion. That's mastery, because you wouldn't be doing it if you didn't know what you're doing. You have more people that are entrusted, have been entrusted into you. And look at this. Look at this. This is the pinnacle of mastery. We haven't even gone into scalability. We haven't even gone into having more and capacity yet. But this in itself is quite impressive, isn't it? It's quite impressive. It's a big fleet. It's still the same principle. It's still on the water. It's still taking people in a general direction, but it's more people because you're a master, right? You can show more people. You can carry more people. But check this out. Check this out. This is the pinnacle. This is the goal. This is what everyone should be doing, right? You get to a point where your vision outlives you. And it takes back to that example that I gave about Jesus Christ died on the cross of Calvary. What was that? To replicate, to scale, to get more people that are ambassadors for this message, to carry it out when your message grows beyond you. And I love it here because you can see if one of these fleets one of the boats here says, you know what, I'm not interested in going again, guess what, the other two will go, right? Yeah, because it's bigger. It's like, yeah, it's fine, you don't want to go, but there's nothing wrong with me. That is when you build yourself. You're now an institution, right? So this is what we have to have in mind, that the vision of my life is I want to grow my competence around my natural giftings and abilities. I want to then master this competence such that I can do it with my eyes closed. Then you move on to the next. Then I want to be able to grow my capacity so that I can serve more people. I can be a blessing. I can, do more in the lives of others, right? And yeah, and a lot of people say, Tonbra, that's a mighty big boat. How am I going to fill it? I don't know anybody who, I don't know people who can come into my boat. That's a huge boat. But that's the thing. That's the thing. Our job really is to build ourselves. And what I said, it starts from that building initially, building competence and building mastery. When you do that, you become a lighthouse and you will then start to attract people. This lighthouse, right, is not standing there and saying, hey, I wonder who's going to come, or it doesn't go out looking for people in the ocean. Hey, you both there, do you need light? No, it just shines. That's all it does. It just shines and people gravitate towards it. People say, hey, I need what you carry, so I will come to you. And that is our job essentially on this earth. And I love to speak about this because I think it's so fundamental with whatever you stand for, whatever your spirituality, that for me is the highest call. I want to be able to shine. I want to be able to lead beyond myself. I want to be, a city that is on a hill that cannot be hidden. Like I want to be able to light the world so that men may see and give glory to the one who created me. That is it. That is the desire. Okay, the Morite code. So this is a bit new as well for the people who are actual Morites, but this is, been sitting down and really, really thinking. Like I said, we started in October, and I've been like, what do we actually stand for? right? What is our code? What is our, if we had to synthesize every single thing that, we represent, what would be, six defining or five defining phrases that embodies every single thing that we stand for, right? That if I had to say, hey, this is it, what would be on this placard? And I said, this is it. This is it. Number one, we are light. As Morites, we are light, and anyone who experiences us is better for it. And I don't. The thing is, a lot of times, and this is a thing, right? Some of these things I'm going to say to you might not be who you actually are now. One, or might not be who you actually think that you are, because a lot is within us, but we haven't excavated it, right? So, but what happens is that our subconscious mind is so, you know, I don't want to say messed up. Our subconscious mind for a lot of things, is colored by our experiences, colored by the things that, cultural conditioning, everything conditioning, right? So a lot of times we've been told different things. Our core values have been shaped by others, our where we're from, where we're born, a lot of things we take from these things. And for some people, it's hard for them to connect to things like this, right? Because they feel, oh no, that's not who I am. But I put it to you, if this is who you want to be, right, it starts today. It starts today. And how you become that person is repeating. It's the principle of repetition. In fact, somebody says, Mfon Echo says, space repetition over time, just repeating it. It's just those words. It's a reconditioning, it's a reprogramming, and says, you know what, I don't care, I'm going to draw a line in the past, whatever, and from here today, i I am light. And any single person who experiences me is better because of it, because I have said it. And guess what? When you leave the session and you go out into the world tomorrow, anybody, you are programmed, right? But it's not just one time you say it. That's the in fact, that is the basis of, affirmations, right? That's the basis. That there's no other way. There's no mind surgery. The only way that you can do a surgical work on your mind is by speaking words to correct anything that you don't want in your mind. So let's get back to this, because I've kind of gone on a tangent. If you leave me, I can preach on this forever. But anyway, the first one is that we are light, right? Every single person who experiences us is better because of it. And I want somebody to, in fact, I want you guys to put this in the comment box, because I want us to own this. This isn't a Tonbra thing. This is an all of us thing, right? It's an all of us thing. We are light, and any single person who experiences us is better because of it. We elevate minds. It's simple. We bring kindness, we bring energy, we bring light. That's what we do. Okay, the second one. Oh, I like it. It says we are light. The second one is we are knowledge seekers, right? In all your gettings, get wisdom, get understanding, get knowledge, understand what is going on. Ignorance, not an excuse that will fly, right? So in this group, what we do as part of the collective is we try and elevate our minds. We read, we want to learn, from each other. We want to learn from people who have, containerized this information in, for posterity. We want to learn, we want to elevate where we are. So we are knowledge seekers. The third one is that we are destiny helpers. We understand the responsibility that lies within us to help another's destiny. We are destiny helpers. Remember what I was showing you about the boats, the people who are on those boats. Those people, their lives are being shaped, their destinies are being shaped as a result of being with us. And actually, let me just add this before I continue, because somebody is going to say, hey, Tonbra, what if I am meant to be on someone's boat? What if I'm not meant to actually have my own? I put it to you that that is wrong, right? So the whole idea of this evolution is that it's like it's a cycle of life, right? And I don't say circle, I say cycle. Is somebody then comes back, somebody gets on a boat, right? You show them the way. The idea is that that person now understands enough of who they are to then start to build their own competency in their own natural gifts. They get off, they get on their boat, they start to master, they start to house more people on their boat. They then also then start to build their capacity. Eventually they get more people on their boat, and that's and so on and so forth. The same principle of discipleship. Okay. And then the next one, which I love, is that we are sisters keepers. We are sisters keepers. We keep, we look out for one another. We operate, we take body in very, very serious. We look out for one another. We make sure that no man is left behind. And then the final one, which I also super love, we say I love everything, is that we are truth tellers. And this is actually the most important one. And when I say truth, what I mean is truth that is supreme, truth that is absolute, truth that isn't tainted, truth that isn't, a making of the paradigms in which, we either exist or see the world, truth that is higher than us, right? So we are truth tellers. We tell the truth of who we are through the eyes of the one who's created us. So that means, regardless of my experience on earth, regardless of everything that has happened, who am I at my core? I am worthy. I am enough. I carry value. These are truths, and these are the truths that we build our lives upon. We do not contradict these truths. We do not use our words and our thoughts to speak against the truth of who we actually are. So we are truth tellers. We speak the truth of who we are. Okay. And again, you might slip. Tomorrow you might go and be like, you know what, I don't want to help I don't know how to help anybody's destiny. You say something about yourself that you're like, hey, if I was a truth teller, why am I saying that? It's over time. It's over time. Just keep speaking this. Take a screenshot of this page if you want, and keep speaking this truth to yourself every single day, and you will start to see them becoming a reality in your life. I promise you. Okay, let me check in. We've just finished, one section, and we're about to go in. But I want to just check in. What has been the one thing that you've heard tonight so far that has, really, really resonated with you? I would love to get your feedback. Okay. Let me just see what has been the one thing that you've heard tonight that has really resonated with you. Drop it in the comments. Yeah, I would love to see it. Please share. Oh, okay. Alari says we are light. David says we are light. We're truth teller. More bodies. We're sisters keepers. Destiny. Oh wow. Knowledge seekers. We are light. Oh wow. Wow, amazing. I love this. We are light. The fact that I am a destiny helper. I love it. Okay, I see you guys are here and listening and well into this. So let us continue. We carry something, and we all need to build our boats and carry our tribe. I love how succinctly you put that in. Very good. Thank you so much. Okay. Who is ready? Who is ready? Who wants to be great in 2022? Before we even start, I want to see who wants to be great. Everything on it. Who wants to be great in 2022? Who wants to be? I'm about to unleash a code. I hope you have your notepads. You're going to need it, because if you open your ears and hear with your inner ears what I'm about to teach tonight, honestly, you are going to have a fantastic 2022. No mincing words. Not at all. You will have an incredible year. So take what I'm about to say very seriously. Make sure you have no distractions and hear from your spirit, and action beyond just hearing, action. Okay? All right, then. Who's ready? I can't see anybody saying they're ready to have a great, they want this. So maybe I should just leave it. Maybe we should just end here. What do you guys think? Okay. Okay, alrighty, please don't end. Fantastic. I'm ready for great day. Hey Ava, I see you. Okay, cool. Let us do this. The greatness code. Let's go in next level, right? Let's next level. So what is this greatness? I want to I thought I would just start by breaking everything into, first principle. What is greatness, and what it is really is just a state of superiority that enables you, that kind of allows you possess abilities that are greater, natural abilities that are greater than others. Yeah, you stand out. You stand out from the pack. There are other people in a row, but there is something about you. Hey, you possess that thing. It's a trait of greatness, right? And what is a code? What is a code? Right? It's a system. And I love this word. I've been hearing this word a lot, by someone I follow, and she's been talking about, there is a system, there is a way all of these things hang together. So a code is a system of, letters, figures, symbols, and this is what it means in the dictionary. But obviously, beyond that, you extrapolate it, and what it is a way, it is a system, it is an approach to doing something that allows you gain access to something, right? That's what the code is. And greatness is it allows you gain ability to stand out. In summary, that's what we're saying here. It's a system of things, codes, a way of doing things, a way of being that allows you gain access into you know, a larger space, an elevated plane, right? So yeah, what we're talking about tonight really is how are you going to be great? How to be great at anything. So this applies to anything in 2020. And this was a blueprint that I got, and I was just like, wow, amazing, mind blowing, and it works in my life already. All right, so I'm going to be going through a set of blueprints, and yeah, this is where we start, right? So the first one is it's kind of almost like, I say it is obvious, but in a way sometimes it's not, right? You sit down and you say, look, I really like this thing. It's something I want. It's a space that I want to go into. It's a space that I believe, there is something leading on the inside of me in that direction. But you will ask the person, how are you growing your competence around it? And the answer is, no, right, not really. I'm just winging it. I just kind of go and just try. No, in 2022, we are not just trying anything. Please. We are not just trying anything. You must grow your competence through formal learning. And when I say formal learning, I'm not saying necessarily that you go do a PhD. Well, I know I have some PhD people in the house. That's great. That's the pinnacle, right? But you start where you start, right? In this day and age that we are in this unbelievable knowledge age of the knowledge economy, where there is so much information. There's a proliferation of information. It's widely available. The entire YouTube can be used to build universities these days. I know there is the contention around the types of information, but yes, you filter through, right? There is something that somebody once said. They said that, look, when people pay to go and do courses and programs with people, what they actually pay for, right? Maybe it's accountability if there is like a face-to-face thing with them, but if there is not, what they pay is a structured way to learn, right? But the truth is that a lot of this information that you are paying for to in that structured way can actually be found outside. So what you need to be able to do is curate your curriculum. So what I'm talking about here specifically are to people who are starting where they start. I don't have any money, Tonbra, to go and study anywhere. I don't have any money to go and pay anybody. But what you have are resources that are in front of you that you haven't yet touched, that you should be putting your nose into. So many people are teaching for free on the internet. Hey, come and do this. Hey, come and do this. How have you used that? What are some of the skills that you have that you can upgrade that will start to give you, or elevate your competence in core areas that you want to be known for? I was speaking to someone today and I was saying, look, it's even simple things like even Canva. Canva. If you go on YouTube, you'll be lost because there is so much there. What is it that you want to be known for? And that is what this greatness is like. What is it that I want to stand out for? How can I increase my competence, upgrade my competence, grow my understanding through formal learning? That is the base before you go anywhere further. And if you're already doing it, you know what else? Anyway, yeah, grow your competence through formal learning. Oh, Alaire is scribing. I love that. What is it that you want to be known for? And that is the question. That is where you start. That's what you ask yourself. What is it that I want to be known for? And how do I grow that competence through formal learning? Okay. The second, number 2, is leverage. And this one is one that a lot of people downplay. They downplay. And when I talk about I talk about opportunities for exposure, right? Opportunities to start doing these things but informally. Somebody else that is doing it. Can you say, hey, I'll come and work for you for free, or I will come and piggyback on some of the knowledge that you already have so that I can learn, because what you're doing at that point is catalyzing your growth. So rather than waiting and trying to do it organically, how can you leverage on other people who are already doing it so that you can learn faster? So, what is it that I want to be great known for in 2022? That's the first question you ask. The second question you ask is, what is it? And then, what can I learn? How can I upgrade my competence around it through formal learning, even if it's a curriculum that you curate yourself of means that are widely available. The third question is, what opportunities can I, leverage to expose myself so that I am doing this thing already, right? I'm there in the forefront and doing some of these things that I want to do, right? You guys are with me. Number three is expand, right? And what I mean when I say expand here is, you don't want to think just myopically. I want to be, example, I want to be a thought leader in a particular area, right? Okay, I'll use myself for example. I want to be a thought leader, right? I've said actually that one of the things that this is my year of, that I want to just, grow my tribe and elevate my thought leadership around some of the ideas and some of the things that I teach. So what are some of the skills that underpin that? Don't just look and don't be so insular in your view How can you broaden it? What are some complementary skills that help you become better at that one thing that you want to do? Right? So I made the example earlier of somebody learning how to use Canva, right? So whereas they're not, that person is possibly like not well in our conversation. They're not trying to be a Canva specialist to start doing graphic design. No, that's not what they're trying to do. But they're trying to do something else that if they knew how to do Canva, it will help make that thing, the very thing that they're actually doing, easier, right? So complementary skills like, okay, in thought leadership, what are some things that help you become a better thought leader? I want to be able to, speak on stages. So do I want to upgrade my speaking? Or do I want to get books on speaking? Do I want to get a speaking coach? Do I want to? So it's, what are the other things aside from speaking, writing? What are some other things? So do I want to, learn how to, write better? Do I want to have a structured approach in terms of the, what I put out there? So all of that gives you, more robustness, it makes you more well-rounded so that you're not just one thing, you are doing everything else that helps you become better at the one thing. Am I making sense? Are you guys with me? Are you guys with me? Complementary skills that make you well rounded. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. My friend, Bralade Koroye Manager, she's a boundaries coach. And, for her, complementary skills is beyond just, oh, I teach you on boundaries, right? Just to be able to know this is me and that is you. And, we have this fence that allows love in and, hate doesn't let hate in. And, that's the premise of boundaries. But beyond that, what you also need to do is you've got to understand communication skills, because you don't want to go and say, hey, boundaries, hey, you've got to be able to, she's got to also be able to communicate better with the people that she's teaching. So they're all emotional intelligence, be able to sense check. So you've got to broaden your view around the core thing that you want to be great at. Broaden, expand the complementary skills so that you are not thinking in a one track mind format. Number 4, and this one again is very easy. This one, a lot of people, I was one of our lovely new collective members. She was talking about how she's a researcher. Amaka, shout out to you. We're talking about a researcher. So for you, this is easy, right? Because you want to know what's happening, your global trends, what's happening in the world, what's happening in the news. You want to know. But for a lot of people, this doesn't come naturally. So you say you want to be great in something. I want to be great. I want to be the authority in this thing. And somebody asks you, hey, did you see what happened in the news yesterday about the subject matter that you are supposedly, hey, and you don't know. You don't know. You should have Google Trend alerts. If you don't know what that is, go and Google it. No pun intended. You should have an alert that says any information that comes on this matter, I want an alert to come to me via email to say this is happening so that I understand it. Because what happens is that it broadens your knowledge base. You are seeing more, you're getting richer context. You're getting richer context around the things that you want to be greater, that elevate you. So you want to stay involved. What's happening? You want to be at the forefront of knowledge and insight around that thing, right? That is what you want to do. Stay informed. Fantastic. Number 5. Number 5. Number 5 is actually all about blueprints, and I love it so, so, so much. For someone like me, I stated before, a lot of things I speak about, it's anchored in my own spirituality, which is I'm Christian and all of that. So a lot of times I make references. A lot of times for me, some of the things I teach about, you will find thematic references in, the Bible or there will be people, people that have done things that you can say, hey, there is a pattern in the way this thing was done. So the point I'm trying to make is that in that thing that you want to be great in, right, where can you actually find thematic references? Is it in nature? Okay, so for instance, for me, a lot of the things that I teach on, like if you're inside my proper core, if you've done any of my core courses, a lot of the things that the one of my major blueprint is really around um what I will call boating metaphors. I teach a lot about water, boats. You always see me talking about is seeing yourself as a container, container opening that. So these are all references that I have gotten from life. Right? There is no necessary. It's not necessarily something that I read somewhere. It's something that I have seen, and I have, there are references that I have built and I have developed. So, and there is so much that you can also get for yourself. Sorry. Oh no. Sorry, give me a second, guys. Oh God. I'm never honestly. Sorry, I got lost my track there for a second, but let me go back. Hold on. Okay, back. Okay. So you want to get thematic references, whether it's in life. I've had people do courses on, excavation, and they use that principle. So what is that thing you want to be great in? Where can you find references, whether it's in the Bible, where can you find references in nature that gives your what you want to do more, robustness, more truth, more authenticity, more relatability around it, right? The next one here is what I say, submit. And when I say submit, I don't mean you go groveling in ball and chains, because a lot of times people think it's that. It's not that. You can submit to knowledge, somebody who inspires you, right? And you don't necessarily, it's indirect. You don't necessarily have to be in the same space as the person you watch them on it. But what you're doing in this submit one really is you are you are in fact, how I will explain it is you find somebody that is going on the same track as you, but faster, and you attach yourself. And how you attach yourself is that you become consumed with consuming their content. You say, you know what, I want to learn, and I want to understand, I want to take in, you inspire me so much. It's like, who do you want to be like, right? You then say, you know what, I'm going to submit to this person. You pick 3 people. I'm going to submit that anything that they're doing, I'm just going to be a part of it. I want my mind to be broadened, as I consume their content, because they say you're the average of, I think it was Jim Rohn that says you're the average of the, 5 people you spend the most of your time with. So that's you spending, if you're listening to these sorts of people that inspire you, people that you want to be like, and you are immersing, that's the word I was looking for earlier. You are immersing yourself in their content totally. Like when you come out, it's like all those people in I don't know if it's Calabar, but Middle Eastern societies, they do that. Like, when you would go, you're getting married, and there are rituals that they perform, and they put you in this room, and they put a lot of perfume, fattening room, yeah. They put a lot of perfume, and when you come out, you are oozing this perfume. I'm telling you, you can get knowledge by osmosis, just being there and listening consistently. Your mind is getting rewired. Remember what I said about, just that spaced repetition over time. The more you hear, the more you hear, the more you hear, before you know it, you're like, hey, I can do this. And that's one of the ways that you can build mastery. So this one is very, very important. You can do it in the, physically, directly say, hey, you're my mentor, blah, blah, blah. I want to serve you. I want to, grow under you. And there's so many people that will be, willing to give you such opportunities. Or you, from distance, you say, these 3, 4 people, that's the content I'm listening to, at least over the next 12 months or so. That's what I'm going to entrench myself in. All right, fantastic. Are you guys still with me? Am I preaching to myself, or are you guys with me? Yeah, let me know what you've gotten as I stop to drink water. What's your key takeaway? What's your best point so far? How about we do that in the 6 that I mentioned? Okay, upgrade your competence through formal learning. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Submit. Okay. What does it say? Submit. Leverage and expand. Okay, I'm listening and I'm taking notes. CJ Wale says, hey. Fantastic, fantastic. I love it. I love it. Okay, so it sounds like you guys are here. Submit, immerse myself in there. Still here, the best blueprints. Blueprints. Okay, okay. Blueprints looks like it's really resonating. Amazing. Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad. Let's go. Still glued on. This one, somebody say game changer. This one is really, really good. So when you're trying to build your authority around something, one of the things that gives you credibility really, 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 really quickly is your story. Stories engage people more than anything. And I hear somebody say, "Hey, Tonbra, I don't have an interesting story." You have a story nonetheless, right? You have a story nonetheless. So what is that story, that what is your why? Why do you want to grow? Why do you want to be great in this particular thing? What is your driving force? What is your key motivation? Why does it matter to you? Why does it matter more to you than maybe your best friend, or maybe somebody else who or somebody else who sits on the train with you? There must be a reason why. So you have to be able to curate that authority, that credibility story that gives you more, makes you a bit more authentic. So when somebody else is talking about that same thing, and then you say, hey, but guess what? The reason why I'm so attracted to helping build minds and build people is that, look, as a child, when I was 5 years old, you know, I witnessed this, or I knew, I was exposed to brokenness. And I think now this is a true story for me, actually. For those of you who don't know my story, you know, when I was 5 years old, I was put in a boarding school, and my mother would, come and pick me up from, I was 5, yeah, 5 years old, boarding school. My mom would, when I would come home on holidays, my mother would just, she would cry. She would wake me up in the middle of the night and just cry. She would cry and tell me about how we don't have any money, we don't have any this. And I was very young, it's 5, 6, and I saw brokenness with my eyes. She would be so broken emotionally. She had a ton of stuff she was dealing with, but then she would pour it on me. And guess what? That has not left me since till today. Anybody who knows me knows that I may not be there for you if things are going well. But you see, if there is a problem with you, I am fierce like a lion. Like, what's going on? I want to activate you. I want to show you that no, you cannot see yourself like that. I want you to manifest your higher self. Where did that come from? It came from my story. It came from my own truth. So, what I'm doing right now in this second is telling you my credibility story. So now you start to trust me a bit more because you're like, hey, if this isn't something that she's just doing on a whim, she's just going everywhere and just, this is real. This comes from somewhere. You trust more. So I want you guys to curate your credibility story, be able to speak it comfortably to anybody and have it ready. Just have it ready. Let it be true. Let it be a reminder to you about why you're doing the things that you're doing. Right? Right? Find themes in your life, is what I say, that give you credibility. Woo! I love this one. I call this one jailbreak, but I didn't want two words, but this really is jailbreaking, right? So this is what I call contribute, right? Find where your people are and contribute to conversations. Whatever it is that you want to be great at, find where those great people are. Contribute. In this day and age, there's Clubhouse. There are people doing Instagram lives. Like, the world is such a global village now. It's unreal. You can literally be sharing a stage with some high powered person, right? Because you have something to contribute. But a lot of times, people don't even give themselves that opportunity because you feel, oh, you know what. But no, you've got to get that mentality out. You've got to put your eye on where you want to be. You said, this is what I want to be great at. Remember when we started? What do you want to be great at? This is what I want to be great at. So I will focus on it. And what it takes, one of the things that it takes, is for me to use my voice, me to contribute, me to let people hear what I have to say about this topic. Remember, I have my why. I've been studying formally about it. I've been getting exposure, trying to do. I have been, submitted to mentorship, but there's so many facets of this. So you have, more material to contribute with. You've got more material to contribute with. So go say, hey, hi, blah, blah, blah. And guess what? When you start speaking for the first time, the beginning part, you will always feel like a fraud. I will tell you that for free. I've been podcasting now. I'm on my 69th episode. It was released today. I do a podcast called Created for More, the podcast. I've been running for 69 episodes nonstop, back to back. Every single week on a Thursday, I drop a podcast episode. Whether I'm feeling fine, I'm not feeling fine, I'm out of the country, I'm not out of the country. I was out in Dubai recently and I was, on holiday and the kids were playing at the beach with their dad and I was there releasing my podcast episode because it is a thing that I do. I'm not going to stop it. The point I'm trying to make here, I have just lost my train of thought. Okay, I remember now. Okay, so the point I'm making here is when you start, it is more than likely that you will feel like a fraud, particularly if you're not used to using your voice, right? It is a muscle that you're building. So be prepared for that. But what you do is don't stop, just keep going. And the reason I brought the podcast example is because when I first started podcasting, oh my gosh, I'm on my 69th episodes. You should go and listen to my first couple of episodes. Like um because I'm not used to doing that. I'm not used to showing up in that manner. But the more you do it, spaced repetition over time, the more you do it, the easier it becomes. The more you show up, the easier it becomes. So this isn't just about you showing up like that. It's about you contributing. And why is that important? So that the people who are in your space to start to see you and start to say, hey, you know what? Well done. Well done. We see you, right? And you start to get some of the recognition that you very so much deserve. That's my podcast there. It's tonbra.com/podcast. Yeah. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that makes sense. Contribute is very, very, very important. And this one is the part B of the jailbreaking. You know, the first one I said was jailbreaking. This is jailbreaking on steroids. Pitch. Pitch yourself as a pair. Ask for seats at the table. Don't worry about, hey, am I competent enough? Da, da, da. I was listening to someone and somebody was saying that, look, a lot of times, and this is particularly true for women, they'll say, oh, women, when you're looking to apply for a job, you go for the job and you will see maybe 70% of the job description, the JD, you can do, and maybe 30% you can't do, and you instantly think, hey, this is not for me. Meanwhile, a guy will see like 50% and 50% he can't do. He'll be like, yeah, this is exactly for me. And that's one of the difference. But that's not where I'm going with this. The point I'm trying to make here is the truth is that when you start to pitch yourself, there might be opportunity that you feel, hey, this is a bit beyond me. It's not something I'm 100% like a fit for. But if there's a 70%, you know, if it's a 70% fit for you and then 30% you're like, hey, I'm not really, really sure. Guess what you're doing? You are giving yourself 30% room to grow. So don't only look at opportunities where you're 100%, I can do it in my sleep. No. Look at opportunities where it's a bit, give yourself stretch goals. I'm stretching myself so that is how you grow. That is how growth happens. Growth doesn't happen where you are safe, where everything is something that you can do. You always have to give yourself opportunity, give yourself room to grow. So pitching really comes in where you say, look, these people are doing this thing. There's this conference where they're speaking about this thing that it's something that I am very, very interested in. I'm just going to put my hand up and say, hey, do you guys need speakers for this event? I want to speak at it. Or, hey, this role, I want to try and I want to put my hand forward because I think I can do it. Hey, this organization, I think it will be useful for me to do this. Pitch yourself. You find where your people are, contribute to conversations, find where they go in each of their individual streams, follow them and pitch to them and say, hey, I want to do this with you. Find ways to pitch yourself. This is very, 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 very important, because when you do this, you are basically catalyzing your growth, because you are now going to be piggybacking on platforms with people with greater credibility than yourself. They've been doing this much longer, right? Even if it's a small seat, it's a seat nonetheless. You build your way, right? Remember, I said the beginning, it might feel to you like, you know what, it's a bit of I'm a bit afraid, I'm not really sure, but do it afraid. Remember the goal. The overarching goal for you is by the end of 2022, I want to grow as a master in this thing. And number 10, I say here, join professional bodies. I spelled something wrong there. Anyway, join professional bodies that can give you accreditation. There are associations for everything. Yeah. And it looks good when you say, hey, I'm part of this coaching association, or I'm part of this, association of non-government. Find an association and be part of them. Because again, it's catalyzing growth by association. It's growing just by relationship extension, entanglement. That's it. So find professional bodies, join them. Hey, it's a lot of them, their professional fees are peanuts really, but it's not all of them that are very expensive. A lot of them just require for you to show up constantly, or find professional bodies. Okay, I'm going to stop here, but I still have, I actually snuck, and I know I said I would do 10, but I actually snuck in 2 more points. But I want to just get, before I go on to the next point, what is the one, what are some points that you've had today, be like, wow, like, okay, I definitely have to do this. Something that wasn't really in your radar before, but now that you've been here, you're like, hey, definitely these are some of the missing links that I need to start applying as a result of being in this class. Kindly put that in for me, please. Okay, let's say stretch goals. Oh wow, I love that. I love that. Pitch for a seat at the table. Amaka says, okay, your voice is a muscle. Contribute, use my voice. Pitch. Oh wow, contribute. Looks like contribute is really, really resonating with a lot of people. That's really good. I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, keep them coming, guys. Keep them coming. I have 2 more, and then, yeah. Okay, not quite clear on the blueprints. Yeah, okay, we can cover that again. Contribute, pitch. Okay, okay, fantastic. I'm really, really happy. Contribute and pitch. Okay, cool. Curate your story and give yourself stretch goals. Mercy says pitch. Contributes my voice even if I feel like a fraud. Okay, cool. All right, plug, and this one, pun intended here. I usually like to observe quietly, contribute to get out of my shell. Fantastic. Plug here, it's plug yourself into a community where there's accountability. You have a lesser chance of um, accomplishing the goals and the targets that you've set for yourself if no one knows about it. If you're the only one who knows about what you're trying to do, you have a you can cop out. Essentially, there is no consequence, nobody knows, no accountability and all that. So it's very, very important you find a community, you find a tribe of people, you find a champion circle, elevation squad, whatever you want to call it. Right, we've got the more collective here, and that's part of the things that we do. But if you say, you know what, that's not your thing, we won't begrudge you. But I think for me, what is super important is that you hear the meaning behind this, which is you've got to plug yourself somewhere. If you say that this is my year where I want to do this by the end of the year, make sure there are people who have heard that, who can hold you accountable to what you've said. So plug yourself into a community where there's accountability so that people can hold you true to the words that you have spoken. Okay? Very, 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 very important. Plug. We're here for you. The more rights. If you are a woman, I recognize there's some men here. If you're a woman and if you're looking for a group of like minds, come join us. Come join us. The greatness codes are fire. Oh, I'm glad. And number 5, 12. Why have I said 5? 12. This 2022, dedicate a minimum of an hour a day. And obviously, when I say an hour a day, I mean over 365 days. I'm not saying an hour a day only on weekdays. Be dogged about this, your desire. Visualize, close your eyes and say, you know what, this is who I see myself being at the end of the year. And I will dedicate X amount of time for you. Some people, it might be 2 hours. Some people, it's 3 hours, depending on, what you can do. But you've got to be consistent. That is the important thing, right? You've got to be consistent. And these things, if you start to flesh out, if you sit with these goals, right? Let me tell you something. If you sit with these goals, right, and you start to make a plan around these goals. Okay, point number one, extend. What was the point? Point number one. Let me go back to point number one, actually. Let's go. Let's go. So I can give you factual stuff, right? Study. What are the goals around this? What do I want to do by this amount of this time? Where do I want to be by the end of 2022 around this? What course? What videos? You ask yourself those questions. You're gonna get some goals out of this. And I'm speaking here also to more rights. Sometimes we do a lot of goal setting within the group. Sometimes we say, what should my goals be? This is your answer, right? Leverage opportunities for exposure. Okay, I've identified this company, I've identified this person or this organization or this charity. I'm going to approach them to see if I can, get some um, get exposure, get an opportunity, hands-on experience, experiential knowledge. I think that's the phrase I'm looking for. You can get some goals around that. Okay, by this day, I want to make sure I've approached 3 companies. I want to make sure I do this. I want to make sure I do that. Those are goals. You go on to the next one. You say expand the skills and underpin that. Okay, all right. These skills are also they're complementary skills. It's not the main thing, but these skills help that skill become easier. Okay, so how do I develop these skills? You put a plan around that. Those are some goals for you. You move on to the next one. Stay informed. Okay, what does this mean? I want to make sure that I spend X amount of time reading up on latest news. Whenever I set up a Google Trends alert, whenever I get a notification, I make sure that I read it. I make sure that I speak to different people about it. Get some sort of pair conversations around it so that I really, really, really understand it, right? Those are some goals for you. And blueprints, right? To Amaka's point, question around on what this actually really means, right? So blueprints for me, and these things like everybody is different, and everybody delivers differently, right? But this is it's an area where that really works for me. So that's one of the reasons why I included it, because there might be other people out there that are like me as well. A lot of times you can take learnings off of non-conventional means, right? So what blueprint speaks to is, where else can you learn about the thing that you want to do besides just the things that other people have said? What can you teach yourself about what you're trying to do? What examples or what things can inspire you to create some original thought around some of the things that I want to be great in? And for me, I'm more of, I'm into the space of thought leadership. I'm into, I create a lot of original things, materials, like, um, they just come to me, from this perspective. I see a lot of metaphors in life. Some people will look, a leaf will fall down and they'll say, hey, they use that the leaves fall down, da, 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 da. They see a blueprint, the leaves only fall down because the weight is this and that, the wind doesn't blow. People see from that, believe me, or it's studying other people's lives. People get blueprints, say, oh, great leaders, they always do this and this. Okay, example of a blueprint is somebody saying something like, what, a lot of you will see 7 attributes of all great leaders, right? Somebody has gone to study, and how that came about in its original form was somebody going out to see that there are patterns here. Everybody that I know that is, you know I don't know, has achieved this sort of financial level, I notice that they always wake up at this time. I notice that they always do this. I notice that they all did. What have they done? They've studied for thematic references. There is a theme, there is a pattern that they have seen, and they've translated that, and that becomes a blueprint. So this one is actually it's a game changer if you know one it's applicable in your field, and if you are able to really really understand how to embed it. Because for me, like I said, a lot of the things that I talk about, I use navigation and boating metaphors. I use water. You flow. If the boat has a leak, if your boat has a leak, before you know it, the boundaries are broken. The water enters into the boat. The boat for me is a metaphor for who we are and the identity that we carry. You're in a boat. You're carrying people, and you're going to a destination. These are all metaphors that I have just studied. Like I've just said, okay, that looks like it can teach me something. There's some people that talk about excavation. You've got to excavate all the things that don't serve you in your life. And it's the principle of digging, it's the principle of seeing the different types of rocks. All of that gives us learnings. It gives us learnings. People will say 10 principles for this. Where did they get it from? They're all thematic references. Some people spiritual, they go into the Bible, they say, you know what, I want to learn what are the themes in someone's life, like David. So what are the themes in his life that I can take learnings of, to be, what was David renowned for? He was known for, how much of a heart that he had for God, and God had for him as well. But what made him like that? People study, oh, David was this, he had a lot of wisdom, he was able to fight with Goliath in a certain way. So what are some things how can we apply that off the original context into our lives that helps us, do things, differently? That is what blueprints are. Does this make sense, Amaka? Oh, I stopped at blueprint. So now, yes, perfectly. Oh, fantastic. I'm glad it makes sense. Okay, cool. Submit. My goal is to, listen to 3, 4 people, these people at least, and you've got to make your goals smart, right? I'm going to listen to them 3 times a week for for this particular period, from this time to this time. I'm going to listen, I'm going to, immerse, that word again, immerse myself in their content. You're submitting, right? Story. You say, okay, I'm going to think about my story. And here, let me even give you one that is great in this. When you're talking about story from a story perspective, you will find that, you have key tenets in your life, like things that define you. In fact, someone I follow, she calls it your unique storyline philosophy. So, what are some key stories that you have in your life? And what happens when these key stories is, as new things begin to happen, it's easier to say, okay, this new thing that's happened, this new event in my life has happened. I can plug it into this tenant, and it's almost like a jigsaw thing. You say, oh, okay, I've evolved in this space. I've learned this. Okay, this is also I can attach it as a story that gives it this particular thing in my life a little bit more weight. And that's what you do with stories, until you've got this huge tapestry of authority, of credibility around the things that you want to do. So contribute is the same thing. You create a plan for contribution. Don't hope. Please, if you leave the session, don't hope that you will just contribute. Please, can someone put that in the comments? Don't hope that you will just contribute. That will lead you down a dead alley. Don't hope that you will just contribute. Create a plan to contribute. I will be on LinkedIn. I will be on this. I will put a post on this a minimum of X times a week, because this is what I'm looking to get out of it. Don't hope. Create a plan. Pitch. Every month I will pitch myself to this. These are all goals that I'm reeling out. Every month I'm going to pitch myself to this, and that. Join. Say, look, I'm working towards this. I'm going to join this membership, this body by this time, and whatnot. Plug yourself. Say, I'm going to be committed. I'm going to do this. I'm going to. Enki, don't hope to contribute, create a plan to contribute. And dedicate time. I say a minimum if you want to build mastery, because that's what we're trying to do, right? Ultimately, getting you to that zone of the highest level of competence around this is that mastery. You want to build mastery, you've got to be focused. You've got to attack this year. Say that this year will not pass you by. It will not be like other years. You're going to get the highest possible benefit out of this year. And how you do that is say every single day for a minimum of a specified amount of time, I will put concerted effort into these principles. That is where the greatness comes from. Oh, thank you, Dr. Chi. That is where the greatness comes from. I will attack. Hey, somebody say this. I will attack this year. I will, at this 2022, I will attack it. I will not come out of this. That somebody must take notice and say, look, where did, like, from where to where? How did you are at the back, now you're at the front. How did you? So guess what? Codes. Let me tell you what codes are. We read it, in the couple of slides. Let's go back here. Oh, I think it was in this. It's a system of words, codes, letters, figures, symbols. So, whereas in the context, so this is a definition from the dictionary, in the context of what we're saying, it is a combination of systems, letters, principles, codes. So, it is you doing all of this in perfect synchronicity, all of it together. So, not saying I will focus on number 1, 2, and 3 and leave the rest. You're not going to get there. It's saying creating a plan out of all 12 and apply yourself over every day. So today I'm doing it. Tomorrow I'm going to move to this point. Then and going and working together. Or this day, my 1 hour this day, I'm going to stretch it over this 3. That is how you get to the point where, people see you and say, hey, there's something changing with you. I see something that I didn't see before. You're definitely becoming different. Okay? Awesome. Before I move on to the next, let me know how you're feeling about 2022. You got the greatness code. You have no excuse now. You can't unhear what you have just heard. You can't unhear what you just heard. Let me know what you are feeling, and then we'll move on as we wrap up for the night. You guys have been, I must say, a fantastic audience tonight. I am feeling ready to evolve. Ooh, I can't unhear what I just heard. That is my satisfaction as an activator. That's what I am. I want to activate you. Whenever you come into my space, I want to activate you for elevation, right? I can't unhear. I am ready to elevate. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay, fully activated for greatness. I'm so happy to hear that. They are useful codes. Thank you. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so yeah, more collective again. And for those who joined a bit late, I did a little bit of. If you joined a bit late and you want to hear what the collective is about, put a note in the comments. And what I'll do is maybe when I close the session officially, so I release people, I can just do a quick run through, just so that you get the benefit of it. But essentially, you know what? We're a collective of women who want to do more, be more, have more, and we it's a catalytic community essentially that helps you with personal growth, accountability, structure, and whatnot. We hang out mostly on Telegrams. We have once a month master classes like this, and then the heartbeat of what we do is really we do a lot of book reviews, and we also do we read a book a month. So when I say a lot of book reviews, but we do book reviews weekly. And then also we do goal setting. So every week and then we have a buddying system as well that helps us move in a direction. It's easier to do it when you're in a pack like this. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like, you know what, I'm not sure about what this 2022 is going to be like, you lose momentum easily, there is more inside of you, but you don't know how to, go from endless planning to actually getting things to go onto the next level. You want to do this, you want to be part of a group of highly motivated people, you want to increase your consistency and productivity, elevate your thinking, and you want to get to that next level, you best go to tonbra.com/more, and you'll see more information. I've just put in the information for pricing here just so that you see it's very affordable. I'd said that I will increase the prices in January just to be commensurate with the value. The value that we give in the group is actually a lot more. We don't charge for it pretty much, but I will leave it just to give the opportunity for anybody who wants to join from this session, and then I actually plan to double the prices just so that it's commensurate. But you've got the opportunity now as it stands to join for a long period so that you don't get hit when the prices are increased. So for this month, in the month of January, I like to introduce good session to start the year. Thank you so much, Ella. We the book that we're reading this month. Hey, I always reveal the book at our more hangouts. It's the Motivation Manifesto. So if you haven't read this one, in fact, I've got a confession to my Morites, right? So the more collective people were called Morites. I've got a confession, guys. I was on a plane, going on holiday. I didn't have anything. I didn't want to watch. I didn't want to just binge on, watching all those movies and so I said, what can I do for my mind? And I downloaded this book because I planned that we will start reading a collective, and I basically almost read half of the book. I was like, no, I'm supposed to wait for the rest of the group. But the book is so good. So good. The Motivation Manifesto is so good. So I can't wait for us to actually discuss this book. It is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. So we start this book next week, and I'll put out a plan of how we read it, and we divvy it up. So one of the things that we do is that we take turns leading the book review. So it's not just me. In fact, I don't lead the book reviews. It's the people in the collective. So it makes it more interesting, and people feel a shared sense of responsibility towards it. So I want you guys to see, if you would like to join us, make sure you do so before Monday, before we start. So that is it. I'm going to open the floor now. I'm going to stop the recording now, actually. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to stop the recording. Wait.